My search, Francesco, began when I had my first breath, suddenly, like everyone else's. But it had a very important turning point on a day when, perhaps like a madman, like a crazy man, with this great fire that burned within me, because this happens to many. Many people write to me, as they write to you. We have often spoken about this, because they feel this ardor within that sometimes we cannot explain, like something that is waiting for us, that wants to be served, that is nothing but the truth. For me, there are no truths, there are paths that lead to the truth. I presumptuously think I am on the right path, but because, as I said before, I have had science, some objectivity, then obviously, as our dear Pier Giorgio Caria always tells us, truth is something we have to taste. I can never tell you what the apple tastes like. I have my own truth, which I'm sure is shared with many other people. So it's a path that began on this day, where, let's say, overwhelmed by this energy I had inside, by this desire to start a path, but also to answer a call almost. I took the car, Francesco, and I went to a deserted area in the middle of a meadow where there was no one. And I started to cry out to the sky to ask for a sign, because I've always... Where did this happen? In Pavia. Because I studied, I'm from Puglia, but I've lived in different regions of Italy. In my training as a male nurse, you know very well that the South doesn't offer many possibilities. So when I graduated, the first job I found was a job where they asked me to give 2,000 euro to them. So I said, guys, I'm going to kick your behinds, I'm going to take it and go. As it should be, because I don't like, in short, this not very normal way for me to run a company. So I went to Milan without even a job or a house, and then heaven gives you what you need if you believe in things. So this day, like a fool, almost a madman, I started shouting to the sky. I wanted science. I felt this call. What do you want? What do you want? I've always been a believer. I've always had the extraterrestrial reality inside, but I didn't link it to the Christic, divine reality, or in any case to this universal consciousness. My association is called Cosmic Consciousness Project, because my intention is to spread this consciousness that I have learned over the years. I was just going to mention it. In fact, as soon as you finish this long, important preamble, by the way, go ahead, because it's very interesting to know how it all came about. Thank you. So I made this request like a madman, but in madness there is truth. As we know, children know very well that they write on walls and do things that we intelligent, rational adults avoid because we are classified, right? Since going outside the box scares us, I went outside the box that day, and the answer came. Not right away, because surely something needed me to calm down for a moment, because the ardor was so great, and there were so many small and big signs, until one day I was asleep. But I had an experience that I don't call a dream, but a real astral experience, because I was there, I was present, I was alive. I felt everything, the heat, the sight. I have everything. In fact, it was a 360-degree perception. This sensation has been described many times by those who enter into this cosmic attunement, also by our dear Marco Marsili when he had this experience on the mountain of Gubbio. You enter into an otherworldly dynamic almost, and here there is a beautiful character. Now, after my research, I could suddenly, let's say, link him to a character with Nordic features, we know who these characters are. I don't know the name. I'm not interested in knowing who he was. I'm interested in knowing the invitation that he, let's say, addressed to me. The invitation, Francesco, was to lead me to go to a country which is called Spotorno, a country that I did not even know existed. So I wake up with this strong call, with this really powerful experience that there was this voice that continued, go to Spotorno. I could not pretend nothing. I opened Google, I wrote Spotorno, and it told me it was a village in Liguria that I found out a little while ago. That is, the country where Di Bitonto had his first contact. So, maybe there is something there, I don't know. And so, Francesco, I brought a friend, because I said, guys, if something happens here, at least I have a witness. I won't be able to tell myself that I'm crazy if something happens, if I had a sign. We spent the whole day together by the sea. Nothing happened until I tell him. Felice, that was my friend's name. Let's go away. Nothing happened here. And at a certain point I feel this call, this attraction, almost to look upwards, as if it was an intuition. I look. A perception. A perception, exactly. There was this little cloud, this agglomeration of white matter, which we know what it is. So I thought it was a simple cloud in the shape of a little cross. Okay? My 50-year-old friend, poor guy with bad eyesight, said to me, but I don't see anything, Sante. What do you see? In fact, it was a tiny... He finished saying this sentence, the cross becomes something huge in the sky, and I'm still amazed today. We were on the seafront, a road really very apart from the fact that I didn't even know what was happening next to me, so maybe someone saw it. But it became a huge cross, and for me it was an eternity, but looking back and turning the events around it, must have all happened within 8 seconds, 10 at the most. This huge cross in the sky is shaped into a perfect round sphere, and then into a heart, and from there it disappears into thin air. That is, it dissolves. It was from the moment that you were sure that they answered as you had hoped. Yes, it took some time to metabolize this thing, Francesco, because the shock was great. It was a natural thing like that. It's a natural, of course, there must be an intelligence behind this manifestation. So my questions were immediately these. What does this object have to do with it? Then, while researching, I saw and met Antonio Urzi, who filmed this manifestation of objects made of plasma. In his presentation videos, he told me that these biological entities were manifestations of highly evolved extraterrestrial technology. And I said to myself, okay, maybe they are extraterrestrial identities, but what does the cross have to do with this manifestation? Why a heart? Why a sphere and Christ? So, Francesco, after 4 days, I didn't sleep anything in these 3 days. After 4 days, I discovered Antonio Urzi. On the 5th day, I discovered Giorgio Bongiovanni, thanks to Antonio. On the 7th day, a conference of Giorgio Bongiovanni at 5 kilometers from that town there, okay? So, as absurd as the project behind it, there is an intelligence behind it. The mind still can understand how it all fits together.
La mente non riesce ancora oggi a capire come incastra tutto.